You might want to set the hook. I think you're on. No? Okay, so okay, I see the fish.
Yeah, it's like right there.
Leave it. Whatever was at it is gonna come back. Come on, man. Yeah, he's on. Oh, he's on. There we go. Bring it up. That's a big one. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Oh.
Oh yeah, that's yours.
Oh my goodness, Ethan. Just keep. Don't let it get in the weeds. Okay, hold up. Yep. Okay. Hold on. Okay, it's stuck in the weeds now. So let it tug it out a little bit. Let your line loose. Okay. Let it. Give it a second. Now lean it down. Let it down. Okay. Now it's pull back. Now do it. Bring it up. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. There's the big. Don't let it happen. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Okay. Hold on. Ethan, do you want me to do this? Okay. Hold on. Take that.
This is where it gets good, people.
Take the camera. Do not go over the edge. Okay.
Oh, the alligator.
Hold on.
We are live cross-platform, people.
Don't worry. First of all, everything's gonna
Line
be.
in the air.
Okay, you ready?
Can I stop recording?
You crazy! Stop recording.
Can he stop recording?
Okay. So this thing is the gator is right here.
Who's that woman in the blue shirt? Oh, wait, that's me. Check this out, people. Apparently, every alligator there is called George. Oh, boom!
Take the rod. Okay, back up. Wait, it's stuck in my fingers. Oh my goodness! Not this time, alligator. Look at that. Oh my goodness! Oh my god. Okay. Go get the pliers.
So that's a big bowfin.
Oh, come on. No. Okay.
Jump right into the alligator.
The big fat belly.
Okay, it's out. Now, watch out.
This guy comes in with his phone out
Watch it. There's a hook on the ground.
and scans the fish.
Okay, get over here.
I think that's like a 3-pounder.
Can we keep it?
No, this is a bigger fish. I think we're going to put this one back. Let me do it. Okay, one. No, not to the
Oh, Daddy, it's a bowfin. That's not the biggest bowfin I've caught.
Holy crap apples.
Not today, George.
That was a massive
Look at that thing. I feel bad now for the alligator, but got it. We did it. Okay. That was it. Good.
That was good. We don't always have to start off with stuff that makes you want to gag and retch in your mouth, but we're going to get there. Who said grab it by the mouth? Someone wants me to get killed here. Head 5959, grab it by the mouth. For those of you who don't know, bowfin have like wicked strong jaws and wicked sharp teeth. They're like wicked sharp. And look, I will also tell you, I edited out at least one of the times when I was trying to lift it up and I dropped it because I don't think people want to see me dropping a fish. The fish was fine and is going to go off to make fish babies, or it's not going to be fine and it's going to go feed George. But that one, the alligator didn't get it, people. Oh, good evening. It's Sunday. I made the joke in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community that I was cramming like I used to cram for exams in high school because, look, Barnes sends me my homework. And this week he sent me the topics of what we're going to discuss. And I got to, I knew half of them already. And I go fishing today with the kid and we were with friends. So I didn't want to be sitting there listening to podcasts all day. Then I got home and I figured I had to do an update vlog, a talkie vloggy on Hope Hicks' testimony on Friday's trial. For those of you who missed it, when we talk about Trump tonight, you don't want to be like totally clueless as to where things stand. And then I started cramming, the Bitcoin dude who just got indicted. What else? Oh, the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot. I'm reaching out to 2 journalists. We're going to do a podcast. They have to come on. So We don't always have to start with the stuff that makes you want to barf in your mouth. We can start with some fun stuff. For those asking, we found a gas station down on the 441 that sells live minnows. And my goodness, we crushed it today. So we were playing, it's a $3 game. You get $1 for the first, $1 for the most, and $1 for the biggest. My kid got the $1 for the biggest, but we did not get the most or the first, but it was a good day of fishing. Do bowfin taste good? So I Googled this, Maureen, and people say that you can eat it. It's a light white meat. And that part of the Everglades is not like those retaining ponds on the inside that are disgusting, filled with garbage. That's right on the glades, hence the alligators everywhere. So one day, if the fish cannot be returned alive, I will eat a bowfin. And maybe one day we'll do a catch and cook of a bowfin. Sunday would not be the night to do that. If I came back with a dead bowfin and I was like, here, Marion, I'm going live, enjoy. That might lead to marital problems. And another funny anecdote of the week. So I was going to go kayak fishing and do a live stream kayak fishing thing on a lake nearby that I know I've seen gators there. And I'm debating whether or not to do it. And then as I'm trying to load the kayak into the car, I pushed it into the front windshield and shattered or smashed the windshield. So that was what I'll pretend is a divine intervention to not go kayak fishing in alligator-infested waters. So we just went fishing in alligator-infested waters off the top. And the dude who came by to replace the windshield, safe light repair, safe light replace. Amazing. We sat there talking for an hour and a half while he did the replacement, and it was fantastic. Oof is right, by the way. And it's like the second I tried to close the trunk of the car and I heard a noise that was like soft breaking glass. All right. Now, when I said that we're not going to start off with something that's going to want to make you puke, I didn't say that we were not going to play something that's going to make you puke. I was going to start off with this, but nobody would understand the audio for who's listening on podcast tomorrow, as if anybody's going to understand what they just heard by way of noise and wind noise. Everybody listening in podcast tomorrow, you missed Viva and mini Viva catching a beautiful bowfin and an alligator, navigating the alligator waters to catch that fish without the alligator getting it. So go watch the video if you are listening on podcast. And for those of you who don't know, all of this goes on to podcast on Viva Barnes Law for the People on Podbean, Apple, Google, whatever, all of them. So I was going to start with something that's going to make you puke, but nobody would have understood what it was. So instead, we're going to just, ease our way into it. People, yesterday was May the 4th, if you didn't know. And I find it very offensive that they're making fun of people with a lisp like myself. May the 4th be with you. That's very offensive, and it hurts my fifis. I'm joking. I have a bit of a lisp, so I can make that joke. It's May the 4th yesterday, and holy hell was the crap running on Twitter. One-hit wonder Mark Hamill. I shouldn't call him a one-hit wonder. He might be a two-hit wonder because I just saw a movie with Burt Bratzkowski or something called The Machine. Freaking this guy's in it, and the movie was not good. No offense to Burt, it was not a good movie. But Mark Hamill, who those of you may not know who he is, his claim to fame was Star Wars, and now he's selling out like a Star Wars whore. I'll call it a war whore, a Star Wars whore. Selling out like, like if you didn't hate him before any of this, you might not like him now. I'll just play this one. It's going to segue into the one that's really going to make you puke.
How many of you had Mark Hamill will lead the press briefing on your bingo card? Hands? Yeah, me either. And look, I just got to meet the president. He gave me these aviator glasses. Oh, yeah. I love the merch.
If I can bring up Star Wars too, sir.
Well, I called him Mr. President. He said, you can call me Joe. And I said, can I call you Joe B1 Kenobi? And, he liked that. How many of you had Mark Hamill?
Some people say, there's a difference between selling out and cashing in. Selling out, no, let me rephrase. Cashing in is when you've worked hard and it's time to say, I'm selling my assets at a high. Selling out is when you say, I've reached rock bottom and I need me a little bit of Joe Biden sniffing my hair. This is the most ridiculous piece of rubbish I've ever seen. I'm not going to make fun of the way he doesn't look well. And people are going to make jokes about him being a raging alcoholic, which I don't know. I'm sure some people are going to make jokes about a certain jibby jab because it seems that he's got, I want to say potentially Bell's palsy. His face doesn't look particularly symmetrical. I'm not going to say any of that. I'm just going to say the dude's a freaking sellout. Like it's grotesque. First, you got Howard Stern sniffing Joe Biden's butt. Then you got that other one there, the sellout. What's her name? Don't tell me, people. Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore. I want to go burn my DVD of The Wedding Singer. That's how bad she's gotten. She's up there kissing the butt, sniffing the butt of Kamala Harris. And now you got freaking Mark Hamill selling out to shill for Joe Biden. But it gets worse. It actually gets worse, if you can imagine.
Fourth be with you. Always.
Do you hear the little at the end? Listen. Wait.
May the fourth be with you.
Right after the always.
Always.
Did you hear that? You hear that? I'm not going crazy. One more time. Listen.
May the fourth be with you.
Promise.
Always.
Someone doesn't know how to edit in the White House. And what the hell was going on that I hear? Disgusting. But people, you think it's over. You think it's over. Oh my goodness. You're going to need a detox after this. Don't worry, I got you covered. We're getting better, people. All right, gross. Seriously, watch Trudeau's vid for. Oh, thank you. Hold on, Maureen. We're simpatico here. We're on the same wavelength. Watch Trudeau's fourth vid. Equally gross. Let's play it, shall we? It's funny that I should have that on the backdrop, because I'm going to get to it if I can find it, which I will. Right here. It's right here. Stop it, Trudeau, you scum of the earth. Maureen, I hope this is the one you're talking about. The tweet says, "Worlds apart. May the fourth be with you." And this is the video that Supreme Leader Herr Trudeau puts out. Listen to this. If this gets claimed for music, I'm going to lose my poo-poo. I forget it. What's that? We're doing it. No, we need the music. Take the chances. I'll contest. Fair use, biatches. This is Justin Trudeau holding up a lightsaber with a family. It's totally organic. Oh, and now we see Pierre Poilievre. And it says, Poilievre leads march of convoy protesters beside man with far-right extremist ties. This is what he does. I'm going to put it on pause there. Poilievre, the leader of the Conservative Party, leads march of convoy protesters beside men with far-right extremist ties. For those of you who don't know who that man is, because he's quite blurry in this pixelated crap-ass video that Justin Trudeau, crap-ass McGee, put out, that's James Topp. James Topp is a military veteran, a hero to many, who literally walked across the country to protest Justin Trudeau's abuse. Look, it's a Saturday morning. I wake up. I'm just trying to, not be despaired when I wake up first thing in the morning. And I have to see Justin Trudeau saying, worlds apart, because this phony jackass can go to a paid propagandist house and mess with their kids and exploit their children for politics and pretend he's such a good dad and a good husband. Oh, God. And play lightsaber, and then contrast him to Pierre Poilievre, who he then says is marching with a man with far-right extremist ties. James Topp is the furthest thing from an extremist imaginable. I watch this, and I literally sit there angry, cranky, despaired. And I'm sitting there like, the first thing I want to say is, go. Are we 5 minutes in? We're 50. Go fuck yourself, Trudeau, is what I want to say. The first thing I want to say, just go fuck yourself. That's it. We're done. Enjoy your day. But that's not good. That's not good because, A, it's devoid of substance, and I managed to work it in there anyhow. And it's too easy. Then, go with the blackface, and I was like, okay, well, everyone, that's going to be the go-to response for many people. I sat there for a good 20 minutes. I'm going to read it through all the way. And please, what's the word? Not entertain me, but what's the word when you, well, you know what the word I'm thinking of. I can't remember it. I feel kind of senile. Not entertain me. You know what it is? Tolerate it, because I'm going to do it anyhow. And I'm going to read it in a nice, calm voice, because people on podcasts listening to this tomorrow are going to need to hear it. I'm reading my own tweet. Viva Fry. I have been sitting here for 20 minutes thinking of how to respond to this video. It's the most mind-blowing act of desperate, defamatory hate-mongering imaginable. There are literally no depths to which this piece of shit POS scumbag Justin Trudeau will not sink. My first thought was to tell him to go fuck himself, but that would be too easy and devoid of substance. Plus, my dad might be watching. He probably is. My second thought was to point out the hypocrisy of this blackface-wearing, woman-groping, ethics-breaching, Nazi-worshipping POS, accusing others of, quote, extremism, end quote. But he knows this. It's the essence of his provocation. He is the piece of shit he accuses us of being. He knows it. He portrays himself as the hero while provoking the victims of his abuse. My third thought was to remind him, no, reassure him that he will go down as the biggest stain in the history of Canada. But I don't think he cares. He has betrayed Canada and Canadians for his 30 pieces of silver. Ultimately, there is only one thing to say. Trudeau may never face any meaningful or commensurate form of justice for his persistent, repeated evil conduct. But he will live the rest of his lives with the greatest curse imaginable, to be so detested and so detestable that he cannot even walk among the people. He will live the rest of his days in a prison of his own making, a prison of his own pride, knowing that no one will shed a tear when his time on this earth is done. Contrast that to James Topp, a man Trudeau can only aspire to be in his wildest fantasies. A veteran, a brave soul, a man who literally walked across the country among his brethren to protest the abuse, a man who loves and who is loved, a man of whom Trudeau is so rabidly jealous, he feels compelled to use his governmental powers to defame and destroy. As Leonidas told Ephialtes at the end of 300, may you live forever. I hope it was worth it. You blackface-wearing, woman-groping, ethics-breaching, Nazi-worshipping POS. Mic drop. Oh, that made me feel a little better, although it took a lot of time on my phone sitting there outdoors. Although I was tanning my naked, bald face, so, it was value added. Okay, now with that said, after having listened to all that rubbish, you might need a detox, people. You might need... Hold on. I was preparing for this moment the entire time. It's like, you might need a detox because... to cleanse yourself. Okay, but whatever. This is it. twc.health/Viva. On April 23rd, media outlets began the flood headlines of the latest avian flu development. The FDA said, quote, listen to the FDA because they've never lied to you before, it had detected viral particles of they're calling this one H5N1 avian influenza in milk purchased at grocery stores. While the FDA cautioned that they believe the milk is still safe to drink, others are sounding the alarm. According to news reports, Dr. Topple, founder of the Scripps Research Translation Institute, said the finding of viral particles in milk at grocery shelves means the outbreak is probably more widespread than we've known. The dissemination to cows is far greater than we have been led to believe, Topol said. The FDA assurance that the dairy supply is safe is nice, but it's not based on extensive assessment yet, which they acknowledge and won't engender trust and confidence because it comes in the wake of the USDA mishandling. The chief medical board of the wellness company has been closely watching the avian flu H5N1 outbreak in the United States over the last few weeks. And while it is far from certain that this will reach the standard of the bird flu result in a pandemic, we know that the medical tyrants are never going to be done with us. This is for certain. Didn't work the last time. They might have overplayed their hands the last time. They better make the next one much, much worse. With scientists still saying that the bird flu strain could be 100 times worse than COVID. And knowing it's an election year, don't worry, they got us covered on the panic with the protests. Americans understand that now more than ever, we need to be prepared. Do you have what your family needs the next time around? Because most doctors won't even consider prescribing ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, but we've got you covered. Keep listening. The one of a kind. The Prescription Contagion Emergency Kit from the Wellness Company provides you with a carefully selected assortment of effective medications for bird flu, COVID-19, and other respiratory illnesses. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pak, Tamiflu, budesonide. I got it finally. Along with the nebulizer, so you can rest easy knowing that you have the emergency meds on hand, along with a guidebook for safe use. It's a prescription, by the way. You got to fill it out. It's not available in Canada, so I was going to make a joke like tough noogies, but no, it's like when the poo-poo hit the fan in Canada, and I started panicking as to whether or not we can get nebulizers for asthma. Then you realize maybe it's a national security issue that medications are not made at home. Who knows? Backed by research from experts like Dr. Peter McCullough, the Wellness Company's Contagion Emergency Kit is a must-have. Go to twc.health/Viva. Grab your Contagion Emergency Kit. You get 30% off with the promo code Viva at checkout. So the good folks there. Oh, all righty then. And the link is in the description. Actually, I hope that did I put the link in the description? Now let me make sure that Barnes got the thing, but I got something to talk about before. I want to talk about something before Barnes even gets here. Oh, well, it's going to go back to making you wretch again. Let me just make sure that I actually put. I know I put the thing in the description. Yeah, what am I talking about? I did. It's right there. Okay, awesome. The link is in the description, and go check it out. First things first, I forgot to introduce myself for those of you who are new to the channel. Viva Fry, David Fry, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida Rumbler. We start on YouTube, Rumble, and vivabarneslaw.locals.com because we vote with our feet, we vote with our dollar, and we vote with our eyeballs. We end on YouTube, go over to Rumble, and once we're done with the entire stream on Rumble, we go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for an exclusive after party. I then post the entire stream the next day, either in its entirety or with highlights, so YouTube gets it, but the leftovers. These things, if you want to support the channel, the easiest way is by Crumble Rants over on Rumble. And we've got a bunch of them here. Britt Cormier says, thank you, Viva. We know when you show up looking like Captain Hook with only one hand. Have a picture of the alligator that did it. Britt Cormier says, Mark Hamill may not be the great actor. However, I know he is a garbage human. He was trying to pressure his 37-year-old son's ex-girlfriend to get an abortion because he was not ready to be a father, if I recall correctly. Sweetie Zeus says, probability no one was sabotaged, her ghostwriter or someone stuck in obviously offensive quotes to remove her ability to be Trump's VP. No way she's that dumb. Dude, I know she's out there defending it. I'll talk about the dog thing again. At least Justin got paid. Brandon did it for free ice cream. FJB. That's from Danny Phantom. Let me bring this out here. And we've got super chats in here. We got Cheryl Gage says, the alligator, when you were taunting him, says, come down here and talk like that, tough guy. I did feel bad afterwards. I didn't realize we were quite that annoying to the alligator. Observations, you scream like a girl and God surrounds you. Thank you very much. Seize the day. And we got Hope Hicks, might be an angel. Discuss Roman 12:19. Well, I've got to screen grab that. And we got Luke fought the Empire. Mark joined it. Not bad. I'm not your buddy guy. Smirk 808. Hamill was also Joker in the 90s cartoon. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Canada loves James Top, lest we forget, says seize the day. And Theophrastus 3.0. One of the things I hate most about Biden is that his tenure has led me to think the presidency can be no different than a mafia don's times as capo. Yep. John Allen, this is John from over at WTW. Bravo, Viva. I enjoy listening to you, letting those demons have it. Oh, yeah. No, it felt good. Now, by the way, we're gonna address some fake news before we get into the stream tonight. And no, I'm not responsible for it because I'm neurotic. And if I happen to have, let me make sure Brent's good. You got the link, question mark? So there was an interesting thing going around, or, not quasi-viral, but mildly viral on Twitter and other social media. And it's from, I'm not picking on Tracy. I mean, I don't know who she is. And, people make good faith mistakes or they see something and they tweet it. The best part, the Canadian government is going to charge you $25,000 if you want to leave. And then you got a screen grab. Never trust a screen grab unless you verify it yourself. Canada proposes $25,000 departure penalty and increased taxes to curb immigration crisis. And then this seems to be part of an article. In a bid to address the growing immigration crisis, the Canadian government under Prime Minister Trudeau is reportedly discussing significant measures to deter citizens from leaving the country. According to insider sources, the proposed strategy includes a $25,000 departure penalty, along with a doubling of existing departure tax for those seeking to relocate abroad. And allegedly stems to curb emigration. Now, having been someone who broke residence with Canada, I do know this extremely well. Give me 1 second. I want to bring up my reply. So I know this extremely well because I paid the exit tax. And let me tell you, it hurt not quite as much as my colonoscopy, but it hurt metaphorically just as badly. And so I said, oh, this is interesting. Let me go check this because I haven't heard it and it seems a little suspicious. It's a screen grab, yada, yada. So I say three things are true. One of three things is true. It's true, but as of yet unconfirmed. It's untrue disinformation. As far as I can tell, this hasn't been confirmed anywhere. Or someone posts this as a misunderstanding based on existing law. There is a departure tax from Canada. Many of you may not know this until you decide to leave or break residence, I should say. And that departure tax is a tax on the deemed disposition of certain assets, whether or not you dispose of them as you leave. This is from the website. This is from the Government of Canada website. I took it myself, so I know. Departure tax. When I love it, so beautiful. A departure tax, a death tax, a house tax, a property tax, a utilities tax, an income tax, a sales tax. I mean, holy shit! How many? What's left? Tax in the air? I mean, they're going to tax the rain in Toronto. Sorry, that's funny actually. Death tax, capital gains tax, income tax, sales tax, departure tax, inheritance tax, utilities tax. Departure tax. When you leave Canada, you are considered to have sold certain types of property, even if you have not sold them at fair market value, FMV, and to have immediately reacquired them for the same amount. This is called a deemed disposition, and you may have to report a capital gain, also known as a departure tax. Your property could include the following: shares in companies. That's more jewelries. Can you imagine this? How much jewelries you got? You sold it and you bought it, and now you're going to pay the capital gains on it. Paintings, collections. If the fair market value of all the property you owned when you left Canada was more than $25,000, you need to pay a tax, and you do. And it's not, so you can understand where the misunderstanding came from. Do I doubt that the government is looking for more taxes? Not only do I not doubt it, they're doing it. They've just increased the capital gains tax. So they're looking for taxes because, eventually you run out of people to tax. You run out of other people's money to tax. And they are absolutely looking for more taxes in Canada because people are absolutely jumping ship, much like they're looking for more taxes in the States. So it seems to be fake news, based potentially on a bastardization of actual law, but don't repeat it, and now you know. Na, 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 na. All right, Barnes is in the backdrop. He's either been kidnapped by the FBI or he's on the road. Barnes, I'm bringing you in. All right, everybody, let's get this show on the road. Sir, how goes the battle?
How's the connection? I'm on a hotspot.
You are, well, I was going to say, you're good. You're good. It's a little tinny, but I know you're using the native mic but you're perfect.
Okay, good. I'm actually at my house. It's the problem is there's been a problem for about a month or so where the internet coming into the house, they say, is fine. The Wi-Fi network within the house is fine, but it's not connecting the two. And it will disappear for like a day at a time. And it's just got worse and worse and worse. And I have multiple cables coming in. I have multiple internet service providers, all of them down at the same time. And the internet companies can't figure it out. So they're sending a service provider. They keep telling me, "Oh, recheck the router." And it's like we've done that 6 times already on the phone. So some professionals are coming out tomorrow.
Only thing I would say: be careful where the mic is so that you don't tap it or crackle it. And Robert, do you think this means the government or the FBI are onto you?
Who knows? It's something weird for sure. I mean, it's an older house, so maybe somewhere there. It's just weird that it would be both. There's 2 different providers coming in, 2 different wires coming in, and yet both of them keep going down at the same time, and then they would both come back on at the same time. So it can't be there's 2 different routers, both of them going down. So it can't be the router. And what's amazing is this is what the IT people tell me every time. Oh, it's the router. And it's like, okay, so both routers keep going down at the exact same time and both coming back on at the exact same time, regardless of what I do. And this happens repeatedly, for weeks on end. And they clearly can't figure it out. So they're finally agreed to send somebody out to try to figure it out. Yeah, but I gotta hit the road anyway. So some other folks will be here to help take care of it because I got to get up to arguments before the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals in Minneapolis on Tuesday. Got a friend's wedding in New Orleans this weekend. Then I have another court hearing up in Pennsylvania next week. And so gone for about another week or so anyway. And just got back, last night.
Oh, dude, well, we're going to talk about your big week last week. But Robert, okay, tell us what's on the menu, and I'm going to add one on the top that we didn't discuss because it just basically happened on Friday.
Yeah, we have the Roger Ver indictment, which really is correlated to the Biden administration's attack on Bitcoin and crypto. It's also their extension of criminal lawfare and relates to what you were just talking about, the exit tax and departure tax, the U.S. version of it. But also it relates to the current attempt by the Biden administration to basically impose a direct property tax on everybody. They want complete control at multiple levels. And they are basically trying to now criminalize not paying tax on income you didn't make while you're a U.S. citizen. I mean, the allegations against Roger Ver are dangerous allegations for the government to make against anyone. Trying to criminally prosecute and punish someone who's not been a U.S. citizen for money they received or for money they never even received based on the appreciation of an asset they claimed wasn't an asset at the time. The government itself did. So that has an interesting case, and the unconstitutionality of the exit tax, the wealth tax, and this new unrealized capital gains tax the Biden administration is trying to force through. I was in court last week in Beaumont, Texas, on behalf of Brooke Jackson against Pfizer. It was another almost whole day hearing, at least a half day hearing, 4 or 5 hours in the courtroom. Good attendance, including by members of BeaverBarnesLaw.locals.com. That does some really nice and good people got to interact and meet them as well. They got to see the argument. We'll be talking about what happened in that argument. Pennsylvania, the farm workers that we've been talking about now for 2 weeks, still imprisoned. It appears that that they may get out early this week, but one for sure is still in prison. There was, the court should have taken immediate action, but the Commonwealth Court of Pennsylvania has gone rogue, and we'll talk about what are the remedies. Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Maybe we're going to have to start suing some judges in Pennsylvania, some more judges on all the insanity taking place. And the latest insanity from the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture concerning Amos Miller. They now want to dictate how he serves, quote, garbage. Food is garbage. How he serves food to his own pigs. They have a long litany of rules over this that they have now decided that they get to universally enforce. And it might relate to a attempt by the state Pennsylvania other Department of Agriculture across the country, including Michigan, using the bird flu now for a complete surveillance state, not only on food and cattle, requiring them they be electronically tagged and digitally surveilled, but also every human being who comes in contact with any food. Got to keep the license plate down, take their ID down, and send it to the government. That's what this has always been about. People that have been ignoring the connection between these things are missing the forest for the trees. We filed a cert petition to the Supreme Court of the United States on behalf of Owen Shroyer. We'll be discussing that case tonight. George Kelly, the Arizona rancher, who was accused of homicide against the illegal alien smugglers going across his backyard, mistrial. And it appears the government will not go after him further. We'll discuss briefly that verdict and its public policy ramifications. The Trump trial, the case that keeps on giving, not only in New York and the Hope Hicks testimony and other testimony being excellently followed by Robert Gouvet, as well as Inner City Press Online. We'll discuss that, plus the not so shocking developments in the Florida case, the classified documents case concerning selective prosecution, concerning the targeting of President Trump by the Biden administration, the complicity of the DOJ with the FBI, with the National Archives, with the people at the White House, as we said was the case from day one. Now more evidence of it in Trump's motion to dismiss that's been unsealed by the court. We have the Whitmer Fednapping case that we talked about from the very beginning, finally reaching the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. What might be the outcome of those few convictions they obtained through a judge rigging the trial? We got the states, as we predicted last week. We said states will sue the Biden administration over their attempt to impose radical new reinterpretation of Title IX. In fact, that's happened all across the country. We'll discuss that. And then we got some fun cases, might be for the after party. We got when the Kentucky Derby, which was this Saturday. What happens when you get stuck with a losing bet that should have been a winning bet? Can you sue the people that are responsible? That case went all the way up to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. We got Lunchables. Turns out the Lunchables aren't so lunchable. While the government is obsessed with what Amos Miller feeds his pigs, what they're feeding your kids turns out to be laced with chemicals, lead, metals. We'll discuss that class action suit that's been brought. The Arizona Supreme Court finally recognized it's not a sanctionable activity to file an election contest. Good unanimous decision there. And then last but not least, all the newspapers are not happy about AI, and Microsoft now heavily involved in OpenAI, stealing all their work, as they put it. Massive more copyright class action suits as the AI issue continues to work its way through the courts.
Robert, and now we'll add two quickies to the beginning here because they're popular and people want to talk about them, and I want to know what you think. I don't know if you've been too busy to pay attention to what happened at Ole Miss, University of Mississippi.
Just saw your brief description of it.
All right. Well then, okay. So I'll share this. We could talk about this now real quick. I won't play the entire video, but I think we've got our Covington Catholic 2.0, where there are now accusations of racism abound, doxing, sicking the digital and I don't know. I want to say maybe real life lynch mob on this kid. This is the video. The accusations everybody's seen are racism, that the man was doing a racially motivated animal call, whereas if you pay attention here in the background, you still hear chanting and everything. I don't know about Ole Miss as a university, Robert. Is it people have been saying it's been getting kind of woke, and they might react the same way Covington did to Salmon et al. What do you know of the university by reputation in terms of what their knee-jerk reaction might be or might not be?
Yeah, so Ole Miss is located in Oxford, Mississippi, northeast Mississippi. It was the centerpiece of a lot of civil rights controversies and people trying to get into school there in the early 1960s. It was for a long time, their symbol was the rebel, and it was a little Confederate general. And they decided sometime, and I forget when, there's something stupid now. But obviously there was some political controversy about always having the Confederate rebel as your symbol in the modern age, but they changed it to something dumb. It was like Chattanooga. Chattanooga was the moccasins, and we could have changed it to water moccasin if we didn't want it to be named after the Native American tribe, or it could have done a deal with the Native American tribe like the Seminoles did, Florida State and the Seminole tribe. But instead, they changed it to mockingbirds, which was so stupid.
Robert, I think I just Googled it. Did they change it to is this a joke, or did they change it to the Red Solo Cup? Fourth time the charm. Ole Miss selects. This has to be. This has to.
I think that's fake. I don't think it's that bad.
Okay, so this might be like an onion.
So okay, a lot of people who go to Ole Miss, it's a school particularly the fraternity and sorority. It's known for its cocktail parties. It's the Old South school. So you have a lot of old money that goes there. Now you also have had a really robust intellectual tradition. Faulkner lived in Oxford, Mississippi, near Ole Miss, the great novelist and the great writer. So there's a mixture of political trends in Ole Miss. I don't know what the current culture of the campus is. Historically, like I said, old money planner culture. That's who founded Ole Miss. That's who funded Ole Miss. That's why it had a Confederate rebel as a symbol for so long. I'm not a big fan of the old money South. It's a place Amy Coney Barrett would feel very comfortable, put it that way. So that's not part of it. I went to those prep schools. I was a scholarship kid at those schools, and that's where they taught me to hate them. So you're not going to find tons of empathy or sympathy from me for Ole Miss in general, but I don't know about the specific story.
Okay, and people are saying, look, if he's making a racially motivated animal comparison, then it's racist. The only question is, was that what he was doing? You can hear the crowd going, who. The Arsenio Hall crowd always chanted, who. It's a sports thing. But the fact is that people didn't play the other angle of this video where she's giving them the finger. She's up, on the backdrop of a pro-Palestine protest, which has been saying, things that might be questionable at best. So it just felt like another Covington Catholic, people jumping on the bandwagon and going hog wild. Robert, another one, which you may or may not have been following, but did you hear this? Judge Scott McAfee apparently held a fundraiser attended by Roy Barnes and Governor Kemp, and they raised $40,000 for Scott McAfee. Roy Barnes was allegedly Fani Willis's first choice to be the special prosecutor. Roy Barnes also allegedly is representing Fani Willis in the state legislature investigation. I flagged this and I talked to people about this, and then they say, Viva, you're getting a little crazy. That's not corruption. That's just politics. Robert, am I wrong in thinking that if knowing this now, it might explain why Scott McAfee didn't boot Fani Willis from the case, or had he booted her, maybe Roy Barnes wouldn't have been at his house or at the event raising 40 G's?
That's not an unreasonable inference. Welcome to the Georgia legal system. And welcome to Governor Kemp and his world. That's what we were dealing with. And for all those people out there, a critical factor that Trump's lawyers don't always repeat and reiterate. The only reason January 6th happened is because the Georgia courts corruptly, in violation of the law, particularly Fulton County, failed to schedule a hearing within the time required by law to hear Trump's election contest, the only election contest President Trump ever filed. And so that, that's why January 6th happens. That's why all these charges have now been brought concerning January 6th and the activities related thereto, is the corruption of the Fulton County courthouse. And I do wish the Trump people would repeat this. Frankly, they haven't raised it at all effectively. They should be making it's because most of the Trump lawyers, legal team, have no connection to his election contest. All those people, a lot of them were indicted. And it's to remove them from the equation is part of it. But I don't think his team has done a good job making themselves familiarizing themselves with those facts. So several of them, Sadow and others are very good, competent, capable criminal defense lawyers, but none of them have an election law background. And I think they would benefit from having someone really knowledgeable about all the facts concerning that part of Trump's team, because the Fulton County league courthouse and the Atlanta legal system and the Georgia state judicial system should be on trial, and they should be reminded for what they've done in these cases, that their corruption, their culpability is at issue. These judges, for too long, as we're seeing with the craziness in the Pennsylvania courts, have gotten way out of hand. And as we're seeing in the Trump cases in New York and in D.C., they have for too long been without any kind of limit, without anybody coming in and saying, hold on a second, this is a little crazy. So hopefully the Georgia Court of Appeals is paying attention. But I mean, he's doing it overtly. Hey, look, I got Trump's opponents here. They're going to raise money for me to make sure I get reelected and keep my position after I made sure that the corrupt prosecutor stayed on the case. I mean, you couldn't have it more blunt than this. Just like in New York, the judge's daughter raising money on that judge's criminal prosecution of Trump. I mean, this is insanity compounded with insanity.
With that, people, we're going to end on YouTube. Bring it on over to Rumble and then on over to Locals. Let me just give everybody the link one more time. This is the link to Rumble. It's on the pinned comment as well. And if you want to just skip the step and come over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com, here it is to Locals. And we shall, let me just actually get the super chats before we go. Hey, Viva, I just want to say that as a Rodbuster, Norm's story about how Rodbuster are freaking idiots was quite possibly the truest statement I ever heard. And we got John Allen. Well, I messed the last dono up. I go by Hunter's crack dealer over at Robert Govea, WTW. By the way, we all love you and Barnes over there. You are both awesome. God bless you and keep up the good work. Thank you very much. And we got Viva Phase 1 Alligator Tag drawing is open now. Deadline May 13th. Most intense Florida fishing you'll ever do. Okay, that's awesome. And I might actually screen grab that and just think about that. Ending on YouTube, come on over to why am I see now?